Have you ever scrolled through your feed and noticed someone who's always there, liking, watching, but never posting? They're the quiet observers of our digital world. They don't share photos of their brunch, their beach vacations, or their big life milestones. They watch, they listen, they notice, but they stay silent. To some, they seem mysterious. To others, maybe even distant. But beneath that silence lies a fascinating story, a psychology shaped by observation, self-protection, and a deep need for authenticity in a world that's getting louder by the second. This is the psychology of people who don't post on social media, and it's about so much more than just being shy. Sometimes, this silence comes from a profound awareness, the feeling that not every moment is meant for public consumption. For these individuals, privacy isn't about hiding. It's about preserving something sacred, something real. Let me tell you about Alex. He used to post everything: pictures with friends, updates from work, inspirational quotes he found online. But over time, he started to feel a strange sense of detachment from his own life. He'd share something genuine, something that truly moved him, and then find himself obsessively checking for likes and comments, as if that external approval was what gave the moment its meaning. One day, it hit him. He was performing his life instead of actually living it. So, he stopped. He didn't make a big announcement or dramatically delete his profile. He just faded away quietly. And in that newfound silence, something incredible began to shift. He started noticing the world around him more vividly. He felt things more deeply. He experienced moments without the constant nagging thought of how they would look to others. For the first time in years, his life started feeling real again. This is a common reason people step back from the social media stage. It's not an act of rebellion or arrogance. It's a conscious decision to reclaim their attention. They realize, subtly, how they've been curating a version of themselves for an invisible audience, and they start to crave the profound peace that comes from simply being unobserved. But there's another layer to this: protection. For many, vulnerability online feels inherently unsafe. They've seen how easily words can be twisted, how quickly strangers can form harsh opinions based on mere fragments of a story. So they retreat, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. They understand a fundamental truth of the digital age. Once you put something out there, it's no longer entirely yours. Take my friend Lila. She's one of the most creative, thoughtful people I know, constantly taking beautiful photos of the world around her, but you'll almost never find them on her social media. When people ask her why, she just smiles and says, "Because I want to have something that's just for me." Her camera roll is like a private museum, filled with stunning sunsets, candid smiles from loved ones, and quiet, everyday moments that never needed a single like to be meaningful. Her happiness doesn't depend on being seen. It depends on being present. That is the quiet beauty of it. They've learned to let experiences exist on their own terms, without an audience. Sometimes, though, this silence stems from something deeper, rooted in the past. People who grew up feeling unseen or overlooked often have a complex relationship with visibility. They might have learned early on that attention wasn't always a positive thing, that being noticed could lead to judgment, criticism, or even pain. As a defense mechanism, they found comfort in the background. They became masters of observation, the ones who study others, who can read between the lines and sense emotions before a single word is spoken. It's not that they don't want to be known, it's that they want to be known deeply, not just widely. For them, social media can feel too shallow, too fast, and too temporary. They crave connections that last longer than a 24-hour story or a fleeting post. And then there's the group of people who are simply tired. They're tired of the constant noise, the endless stream of opinions, and the relentless cycle of comparison. They don't hate social media, not at all. They just recognize that their inner peace is worth more than their online presence. They choose stillness over validation, depth over display, They live their lives quietly, but with incredible fullness. Of course, this silence is often misunderstood. In a culture that celebrates and rewards visibility, being private can look suspicious. People might assume they're antisocial, insecure, or that they must be hiding something. But often, the exact opposite is true. They've simply made peace with not needing to prove their worth to the world. They understand something fundamental. A moment can lose a bit of its magic when it's packaged and turned into content. There's a quiet power in mystery, in letting some parts of your life exist just for you, without explanation. Still, this path isn't always easy. There are moments when they feel left out, disconnected. They watch as everyone else shares, connects, and gets seen, and they can't help but wonder if their privacy is making them invisible. This is the paradox of being private in a very public world. You gain peace, but you might lose visibility. You protect your inner world but risk being misunderstood by the outer one. But with time, they learn to find a balance. They accept that not being known by everyone allows them to be known more profoundly by a select few. They choose substance over spectacle. They come to understand that your presence in people's lives doesn't require constant performance. You can matter deeply without being seen constantly. True meaning doesn't need an audience. I'm reminded of Alex, the guy who stopped posting. A while later, he ran into an old friend who laughed and said, "Man, you've completely disappeared. What have you been up to?" Alex just smiled and replied, "Living." The friend nodded, clearly expecting a longer story, but Alex didn't elaborate. And for the first time, that felt like enough. Because some stories are truly better lived than they are told. People who don't post on social media often possess a quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need to announce itself. They've stopped chasing relevance and started embracing reality. They know that silence can be powerful, that mystery can be magnetic, and that authenticity sometimes looks like absence. They still see the beauty in the world. They just don't feel the need to prove they saw it. They still care deeply about people. They just prefer private connections to public displays. They still have incredible stories. They just choose to share them in whispers during late-night talks, and in real, unrecorded moments that may fade from memory but feel infinite while they last. And maybe that's the heart of it all. Maybe the people who don't post aren't disconnected. Maybe, just maybe, they're the ones who are the most deeply connected to the moment, to the feeling, and most importantly, to themselves. Because when your life stops being a performance, it can finally become poetry. And when you stop posting just to be seen, you finally start seeing the world for real. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos exploring the quiet side of life. See you next time.